He's the one, he's the number one. Thomas the Tank Engine. He's the really useful engine we have known.
Thomas the Tank Engine has run his branch line for many years and knows it very well. He is proud to be running up and down the line from Knapford all the way to Ffarquhar, the top station on his branch line, with his two faithful coaches, Annie and Clarabelle. Some of the big engines, like James and Gordon, like to pick on Thomas. Oftentimes, they can demonstrate their deep disgust for branch lines. Fancy a boring one-track line that I could repeatedly go down every day with no adventure or things ever happening, they grunted. Thomas had not been able to prove that his branch line was as exciting as their long and busy main line. One beautiful May morning, Thomas was standing at Ffarquhar. He had just run around Annie and Clarabelle after the morning journey. He was enjoying a short rest before the run back down the valley. At the platform, his driver and fireman were chatting to the guard, who had brought some startling news. "Hey lads, did you hear that the Ffarquhar Stationmaster was robbed last night?" "Really?" exclaimed Thomas as he awoke. Both his crew looked at each other surprised and shook their heads. "You don't say." "I didn't realize he had anything worth stealing, no." "You'd be surprised, Thomas. He's actually won trophies for gardening and baking, but now they've all been taken, and worse, the scoundrels had the cheek to pinch his old bakery van in order to carry them away and... Oh God, not that new one he's so proud of. Afraid so." At that moment, the signal rose to show that the line was clear. The driver and fireman climbed into Thomas's cab, and Thomas set off. By the time they were through the tunnel, the train was running nicely. Both the road and the rail were beside each other here, with only a hill and fence between them. Thomas would often remember his race with Bertie the bus many years ago. He had only won because he could go through the tunnel and the hill, while Bertie had to go over it. As Thomas was puffing down the line, he noticed a flash of white on the road that caught his eye. He tried to go faster and look more closely. "Steady, Thomas, there's plenty of time." "Oh, I'm not speeding up because of that. Look at that van." "Yeah? What about it?" "Can't we get any closer to it? It looks like the station master's to me." "Lots of vans look like that, but I suppose we could have a look." As his driver opened the regulator and began to catch up, they noticed two men driving the van. They waved and then saw Thomas and tried to go faster. Then his driver looked closer at the van's license plate, and realization dawned. "Oh, that's the van, all right. Those two must be the thieves." "Yes, but we can't stop them. They'll be gone long before the next station." "Maybe we don't have to. Driver, do you have your notepad and pencil with you?" "Always. Why?" "What we need is a pencil, paper, and something to put a note in. Then we'll throw a message out at the next signal box." "That's brilliant! We can use my lunchbox. I just finished eating back at Ffarquhar." Quickly, the fireman wrote the note about the car and put it in his lunchbox. Then, drawing ahead of the car, Thomas whistled to attract the next signalman's attention, now slowing down. "Police!" they shouted as loudly as they could, and the fireman flung the box with the note towards the signalman. But by now, the stolen car had gone well ahead, and Thomas and his crew did not see it again. But the signalman read the note and telephoned police headquarters at once. The thieves were stopped at a roadblock about 10 miles further on, and were subsequently arrested. Later that afternoon, Thomas brought his last train to Knapford Station. When he arrived, he was surprised to see that the entire station was packed with engines and people. Once he stopped, he spotted the fat controller along with the Ffarquhar Stationmaster, who came as well in his now recovered van. The Stationmaster thanked Thomas, his driver and fireman, for their prompt actions and quick thinking. The engines and passengers whistled and cheered loudly. and they cheered even more when they heard that the stationmaster's gardening and baking trophies had all been found undamaged in a sack in the trunk of the car. "A long time ago," said the Fat Controller, holding his hand up for silence, "Thomas showed how valuable he is to the smooth running of my railway after he had rescued James when he first came to Sodor." James blushed in embarrassment. "My father rewarded him with his very own branch line, and through many trials and tribulations, he has become one of the most successful, most popular engines in my fleet. I am sure you will all agree that today he has once again proved himself to be a really useful engine." Thomas couldn't have felt more proud. Even though it was all in a day's work, he was quite pleased to have stopped a burglary and had helped someone in need. He glanced at James and Gordon, who were side by side, and smirked. James and Gordon were at a loss for words.